Welcome, fellow explorers, to the deep dive. Picture this: iconic adobe architecture, vast desert vistas, sunsets that just set the sky ablaze. We're talking about New Mexico, right? The land of enchantment.
Yeah.
But today, we're not just, admiring the scenery. We're diving into a different kind of enchantment altogether. We've been digging through your sources, and honestly, they paint this vivid, sometimes really chilling picture. New Mexico isn't just beautiful. It's apparently one of the most haunted states in the U.S. From ancient pueblos to these old historic trails, we're exploring what some people call the demons of the desert. So our mission, to pull out the most compelling insights, the surprising facts about why these places are haunted, and what makes these stories stick around for so long. We're basically giving you a shortcut, yeah?
Yeah.
A way to get really informed about the eerie side of the land of enchantment.
And it makes sense in a way. New Mexico's history is incredibly rich. You've got ancient archaeological sites, ghost towns, forgotten battlefields. It just naturally lends itself to these kinds of stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you're, a full believer in spirits or just fascinated by how these legends persist, the history itself is full of intense, dramatic human experiences. It feels like they linger.
Yeah, like the land itself remembers.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this. We thought we'd start our spectral journey in some of New Mexico's historic hotels, places where, personal tragedies, strong attachments seem to have left behind something tangible. First stop, La Posada de Santa Fe, home to the ghost of Julia Staub. It's this beautiful Victorian mansion built way back in 1882. Julie came from Germany, lived there.
Right, and her story is quite sad. She went through many difficult pregnancies, lost several children apparently. Her health declined, and she passed away pretty young, only 52, in 1896.
Okay, so tragic life, but the hauntings.
Oh, what's really interesting is that reports of her ghost didn't really surface widely until 1979, decades later.
Wow.
A janitor first saw a woman in, Victorian clothes, and since then, yeah, her apparition's been seen pretty regularly, often in her old bedroom, which is now Suite 100.
Yeah, Suite 100.
And just, around the Stab House hallways, guests report things moving, gas fireplaces turning on and off by themselves, chandeliers swaying, that kind of stuff.
But here's the thing that gets me. She's almost always described as a friendly spirit.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel totally embraces it. They even have a Julia Staub ghost package. Her great-great-granddaughter wrote a book about her. It's such a strange contrast, isn't it? A life full of sorrow, but a friendly ghost. What does that even suggest?
Well, it could point towards what paranormal researchers sometimes call an intelligent haunting. The idea that the spirit isn't just an echo, like a recording, but retains its personality. It can interact.
So she's still herself, sort of.
Maybe. Perhaps her connection to the home, her role as a hostess maybe, was so strong that it's that part of her that persists, rather than just the sadness, like she chose to stay as a welcoming presence.
Huh. Okay, from Santa Fe, let's head up to the lodge at Cloudcroft. This place is, wow, a Victorian masterpiece way up at 9,000 feet in the Sacramento Mountains. And it's home to Rebecca.
Ah, yes, Rebecca. The story goes, early 1900s, she was a beautiful maid, striking blue eyes, red hair. She apparently vanished after her lover, a lumberjack, found out she was seeing someone else.
Ooh, drama.
Definitely. And Rebecca seems to be a very active spirit. She's seen roaming the halls almost like she's still working there.
Still on the clock.
Kind of. She's known for moving ashtrays, opening and closing doors, even rearranging furniture, flickering lights, sometimes even igniting fires in the fireplaces.
Whoa, okay. Not just friendly appearances, then.
No, she seems quite busy. Her favorite spot is supposedly room 101, the governor's suite. There are even reports of mysterious phone calls coming from the room when nobody's in there.
Creepy.
Yeah. And like La Posada, the lodge has really leaned into the story. The restaurant is named Rebecca's. They have portraits of her, even a quilt featuring her image in the lobby. Her constant activity suggests a really strong connection to her life there.
Okay, one more hotel before we shift gears. Let's go down Route 66 to the El Rancho Hotel in Gallup. Built in '37, this place was a big deal for Hollywood stars back in the day. John Wayne, Lucille Ball, they all stayed there.
Right. And the feel here is a bit different. It's less about one specific tragic figure like Julia or Rebecca and more like echoes. A whole collection of them from its glamorous past.
Echoes. Like what?
People report hearing things, mostly. Late night laughter when no one's around, heavy footsteps in empty hallways, mysterious tapping sounds. In the bridal suite specifically, housekeepers have talked about seeing clothes laid out on the bed take on a sort of human form for a second. Cold spots, doors moving, standard ghostly stuff, but frequent.
Didn't you mention John Wayne?
Ah, yes. There are even sightings reported of the Duke himself, dressed in Western gear, crossing the parking lot.
No way.
Yeah. The thinking is that the hotel's huge collection of movie memorabilia, plus the sheer energy of all those famous, larger-than-life personalities passing through, it's left a really vibrant, almost celebratory kind of residual energy.
That's fascinating. So it's not just tragedy that leaves a mark. Intense life, intense activity that can create echoes, too.
It seems plausible. Any strong human emotion or repeated action might imprint itself on a place.
Okay, let's pivot now to let's say, a heavier theme.
Yeah.
Locations marked by historical violence, catastrophe. And we have to start with the old Maine prison, part of the Santa Fe State Penitentiary, site of one of the most horrific prison riots in U.S. history.
Yeah, this is grim stuff.
Yeah.
The prison was built in 1956, closed in 98, but in February 1980, there was this riot. It lasted 36 hours, just pure horror.
How bad was it?
33 inmates were killed by other inmates. 12 guards were captured and brutally tortured. The prisoners took over the whole facility. Cell Block 4, which housed protective custody inmates, informants, became ground zero.
Oh, God.
They used blowtorches to get into cells. There were execution squads roaming, torturing, murdering fellow prisoners, beatings, stabbings, dismemberment. The reports are just sickening. Identifying some of the bodies afterwards was apparently almost impossible because of the brutality.
It's hard to even imagine. And the place is haunted now.
Well, the Old Main isn't operational, but they do give tours. And yes, visitors, film crews filming there, they consistently report things, dark figures seen out of the corner of the eye that just vanish. One film crew member specifically saw a figure walk into a bathroom, followed him in, and it was totally empty.
Chilling.
It really supports that idea we were talking about: extreme trauma, immense suffering leaving a deep, lasting scar on a place. This feels like a textbook case of residual haunting.
Just the psychic residue of all that pain.
Exactly. Maybe not interactive ghosts, but like a wound in time, replaying the agony.
Okay, from the confined horror of the prison, let's go to something different but equally tragic. Dawson Cemetery. It's basically all that's left of a once booming mining town.
Dawson was established around 1901. It thrived for a while, but then disaster struck. Twice. 2 massive coal mine explosions, one in 1913, killed 263 miners and 2 rescuers. And then another one in 1923 killed 120 more. Just devastating losses for the community. The mine finally closed in 1950, and they literally dismantled the entire town. Only the cemetery remains.
Damn you miners.
People visiting the cemetery report seeing them, figures of miners standing silently among the graves. Sometimes their faces seem lit by phantom mining lanterns. They also report hearing faint cries on the wind. Again, almost certainly residual echoes of those terrible events.
Just picture that field. Over 350 white iron crosses, many unmarked, and spectral lights. The weight of all that loss. You could probably feel it.
A collective trauma, definitely. It seems like it's imprinted there.
And back in Santa Fe, there's La Fonda on the Plaza. This hotel site goes way back, roots to 1607. The original inn was actually used as a courthouse.
And get this, they supposedly held public hangings right there in the lobby.
In the lobby.
In the lobby. So maybe it's no surprise La Fonda seems to be a hot spot for all sorts of hauntings, not just one story, but many layers.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, a whole range. Heavy footsteps pacing empty halls, a mysterious man in a long black coat who vanishes on the stairs. There's the ghost of a businessman who supposedly gambled away his fortune and threw himself down a well in the courtyard.
A well in the courtyard.
Yeah, it's gone now, but the restaurant covers the spot, and that's where his ghost is seen vanishing. Then there's a young bride murdered on her wedding night in room 510. Her presence is felt too. Plus, sightings of a long-dead cowboy, impressions on beds like someone unseen sat there, unexplained footsteps, orbs on photos. It's a lot.
So why so many? Is it just the sheer age of the place, the hangings? Why do all these different figures seem to cling to La Fonda?
It could be a combination. The age, the history of violence, like the hangings, the intense emotions tied to the businessman's suicide or the bride's murder. It's like the building itself has become a magnet or an anchor for all this residual energy and maybe some intelligent spirits too.
Yeah.
The sheer density of events seems to hold them there.
Okay, let's shift themes again. How about stories of forbidden love, jealousy, dramatic endings? We'll start at the Double Eagle restaurant in Mesilla. It's in one of the oldest buildings there. An adobe home from the 1840s.
Ah, the southwestern Romeo and Juliet story. This involves Armando, who was the son of the wealthy Mays family living there, and Inez, a beautiful maid he fell in love with.
A classic forbidden romance.
Exactly. They kept it secret. But Armando's mother, Senora Carlotta Mays, found out. The story goes she discovered them together in bed, and in a rage, she grabbed her sewing shears
Oh.
and stabbed Inez, killing her. She also wounded Armando, and he died from his injuries 3 days later. Senora Mays herself apparently descended into madness afterwards, overwhelmed by grief and guilt.
What a horrific story, and the hauntings reflect this.
Very much so. People report the usual stuff, cold spots, flickering lights, feeling like someone's there. But also, full apparitions of the young lovers, Armando and Inez, have supposedly been seen together in the hallway.
Wow. Together.
Yeah. And Senora Carlotta's presence is felt too, but it's described as more subdued, linked to a feeling of deep sadness. And here's a really weird detail. In the Carlotta salon, which was Armando's room, there are these 2 velvet chairs. They're roped off so no one can sit in them,
Okay.
but they're noticeably worn down as if someone has been sitting in them frequently.
That is genuinely creepy. The ghosts are wearing out the furniture.
It seems that way. It really makes you think about the power of intense emotion, right? Passionate love, jealous fury, crippling guilt. Maybe that energy is strong enough to anchor spirits and even have physical effects long after.
Incredible. Okay, another dramatic tale comes from Fort Union National Monument out near Watrous. It was a military fort established 1851.
And this story involves a captain's sister-in-law who fell for a lieutenant stationed there. He proposed just before heading out on a mission against the Apache.
Let me guess, he didn't make it back.
Tragically, no, he never returned. After some time, she grieved, but eventually got engaged to another man.
Okay, moving on.
But the story takes a very dramatic turn. On her wedding night to the new man, as they were celebrating, the ghost of the lieutenant suddenly burst into the room.
The ghost.
Yes, apparently in his bloodied uniform from his final battle. He swept the bride up into this ghostly dance, a haunting waltz, spinning her faster and faster until she just collapsed. Lifeless. He supposedly laid her gently down and then vanished.
That's theatrical. And utterly heartbreaking, a ghost literally dancing his last love to death.
It's an incredibly dramatic narrative, and they say the lieutenant is still seen sometimes in that bloody uniform near the entrance to Fort Union.
Wow.
And beyond that specific intense story, the fort itself has other reported phenomena: faint whispers, cries, shadows, a general unsettling chill, maybe tied to its role in the Civil War's Battle of Glorieta Pass. It's another place layered with intense history.
Clearly. Okay, let's lighten the mood slightly if we can. Let's talk about some of the quirkier hauntings and weird phenomena. First, the Chemo Theater in Albuquerque. Beautiful place, Pueblo Deco style, opened in 1927.
But it has its own tragedy. In 1951, a 6-year-old boy named Bobby Darnall was tragically killed when a water heater exploded in the lobby.
Awful. And Bobby.
Bobby seems to have stuck around. He's become the chemo's most famous ghost. People often report seeing a little boy, maybe in a striped shirt and blue jeans, playing on the lobby staircase.
Just playing.
Mostly. But he's also known for being a bit mischievous during performances, tripping actors, moving props around, just generally causing minor disruptions.
A spectral prankster.
Just like it. And here's the truly unique part, the bit everyone remembers. The performers have developed a way to appease him.
Appease him how?
Get this. They hang donuts on a specific water pipe backstage.
Donuts? Seriously?
Seriously. It's like a little offering or bribe for Bobby. And sometimes the donuts apparently disappear overnight. And supposedly, sometimes there are little bite marks left behind.
The bite marks. Okay, that's amazing. A ghost who likes donuts. That really brings a personality to it, doesn't it?
It really does. A classic, intelligent haunting, but with this very playful, almost sweet element. There's also talk of a woman in a bonnet seen walking the hallways, but she seems less interactive, more focused, like she's on her way somewhere.
Fascinating. Okay, next, Casa Vieja in Corrales. Historic adobe, dates back to the 1700s. It's been a lot of things over the years.
Yeah, a real mix, a nunnery, a jail, a store, and now it's a brewery. During renovations, they even found a hidden portrait of some French duke behind a wall.
Adds to the mystery. What about the ghosts here?
The reports include seeing a woman in a black dress, hearing sounds like music, or kids laughing when the place is empty, and capturing those org-like lights on infrared cameras at night.
Okay, fairly standard phenomena.
Right, but what's interesting here is the feel of the haunting. The brewery staff consistently describe the spirits as benevolent and welcoming.
Ah, so friendly ghosts again. Like Julius Staub, maybe?
Seems like it. It's a good contrast to the intense, sometimes scary stuff we've discussed. It raises that question again. Why are some hauntings seemingly peaceful or even happy, while others are tied to terror or tragedy? Maybe some spirits are just content, or it's residual joy.
Interesting thought. Okay, last quirky one. The Schaffer Hotel in Mountain Air,
Mhm.
built in 1923 by Clem Pop Schaffer. And it's known for something pretty striking on its facade.
Yes, the swastikas. And it's really, really important we address this carefully for you, the listener.
Absolutely.
The swastika is an ancient symbol thousands of years old, originating in Hinduism and other cultures, symbolizing good fortune, well-being, spirituality, things like that. Its use on the Schaffer Hotel dates from the 1920s, long before it was horrifically co-opted by the Nazi Party in the 1930s and 40s.
Right, so Pop Schaffer was using it in its original positive context. It had absolutely nothing to do with Nazism, its crucial context.
Precisely. Understanding that historical context is vital. Now, putting that aside, the hotel also has a reputation for being haunted.
By Pop Schaffer himself.
That's the main story. Clem Pop Schaffer is said to still wander the lobby and hallways, keeping an eye on his place. People also report eerie shadows, especially on the second floor, lights flashing unexpectedly, and cold spots, particularly in the conference room.
Has it drawn paranormal investigators?
Oh, yes. It's actually hosted paranormal conferences because of its reputation.
So we've heard all these incredible stories. Hotels, prisons, cemeteries, restaurants, theaters. What does it all add up to?
Well, I think it shows that New Mexico doesn't just have ghost stories tucked away. It seems to actively embrace this side of its history. It invites you to come and explore it.
Yeah, you mentioned so many of these places are still open, right? The hotels, the Double Eagle.
Exactly. You can actually stay overnight at La Posada or the Lodge, have dinner at the Double Eagle, potentially right alongside their resident spirits. It offers a chance for you to have your own experience, to immerse yourself directly in these legendary spots.
And if you don't want to stay overnight but still want to explore,
There are plenty of ghost tours available, like the Old Town Albuquerque Ghost Walk takes you through centuries of history, murders, battles, hidden cemeteries. It's about 90 minutes to 2 hours long.
okay.
Then in Santa Fe, there's the Haunted Spirits Tour, a walking tour focusing on the apparitions behind the walls of those old buildings. Plus, other tours in places like Mesilla, Truth, or Consequences. Even specific investigations you can sometimes join, like at the Donna Ana County Courthouse and Jail.
So it's not just about getting spooked, is it? It's more about connecting with the past.
I think so. These tours are a way to engage directly with the historical narratives, the intense human stories, tragic, dramatic, sometimes even quirky, that have shaped New Mexico. You're literally walking through history.
So quite a journey we've taken through New Mexico's other enchantment, the kind that whispers from the shadows. We've covered so much. The tragic lovers like Armando and Inez, the dramatic ghost lieutenant at Fort Union.
The deep trauma echoing from the Santa Fe prison riot and the Dawson mine disasters.
And even the playful, donut-loving ghost of Bobby at the Chemo Theater. It's such an incredible range.
It really is. And I think the key takeaway is that these aren't just random spooky tales. They feel deeply woven into New Mexico's identity, reflecting powerful emotions, maybe unfinished business, and the major events, good and bad, that define the state. It's this fascinating mix of folklore, history, personal accounts
Yeah.
that really makes you think about what constitutes evidence for this kind of thing, residual energy versus an interactive spirit, you know?
Right. So the final thought then, for you listening,
Yeah.
what does all this mean for you?
Uh-huh.
As you think about these stories, here's a question. Are these spirits really truly trapped by their pasts, doomed to repeat their final moments or old routines forever? Or does our own human fascination, our deep need to connect with history and story, maybe even our imaginations, does that help keep their presence alive?
Yeah.
Do we allow them to continue this enchanting, sometimes terrifying, dance in the land of enchantment? And maybe more personally, what parts of our own lives, our own histories, might leave an echo somewhere down the line?